violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Over the weekend, tragedy strikes LSU's campus once again after the death of sophomore Madison Brooks. The East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office reported the 19-year-old was standing in the middle of Pelican Parkway and Burbank Drive when she was hit by a car at around 3 a.m. Sunday morning. In the days that followed, not just friends and family, but the community as a whole came together to pay their respects for Brooks. The incident has brought up the reoccurring questions of safety, especially at night.
Wow, so you have this young lady who lost her life in what seems to be a car accident. I mean, this is, I think, the second student who has died violently on LSU's campus within the last 9 months, I would say. So, I mean, it's looking rough for the Tigers here.
I think the best thing you could do is stay in groups, that somebody's leading, at least somebody who kind of knows the situation and somebody with good situational awareness.
If anyone needs help processing this loss, the Student Health Center is offering mental health services to all students and staff. Reporting for Tiger TV, I'm Miguel Paredes Reyes.
Greg Merriweather here with you on this Monday. We're going to start here. Deputies say that they now believe that Madison Brooks, the young lady you see right there, the LSU student, she was hit and killed on Burbank. They say that she was sexually assaulted before being dropped off near the spot where she was hit tonight.
Wow. So it looks like they've arrested 4 individuals involved in this woman's passing. They say that she was raped and then dropped off before she was hit in a vehicle. I mean, this story is starting to take some wild turns.
4 men are in the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, arrested over the past few hours, one of them in juvenile detention. The 18-year-old Kaivion Washington and a juvenile, both charged with third-degree rape. The 2 others you see there are booked on charges of principal to third-degree rape.
Wow. So the Kaivon and the 17-year-old juvenile, who's going to be back on the streets in 4 years time. Okay, probably less. They were the individuals who actually took advantage of this woman, Madison Brooks. And it looks like Everett Lee and Kason Carver were spectators in this situation. This is absolutely disgusting, man. And I've been reporting on this in New Orleans, but it doesn't bring me joy to say, but it really just looks like these super gremlins are out here hunting glider women.
Lester Dewey is in the Breaking News Center tonight with more on this. Lester.
Greg, I'm told deputies have known about this rape angle to the case almost from the start and have been conducting multiple interviews before making the arrest that happened late today. Less than 1 day after a vigil was held to honor the memory of LSU sophomore Madison Brooks at the LSU Lakes, deputies have arrested 4 men who they say were seen leaving with Madison Brooks in a vehicle from Reggie.
This is not good, community. This is not good at all. And it looks like they left some bar with this woman. And she obviously, I don't know what she was doing. I don't know if she was forced to go with them. But, I mean, this is just a bad decision leading to even more terror.
Bar in Tigerland. Investigators believe 2 of the men raped Madison Brooks before they dropped her off near that scene on Burbank Drive near Pelican Lakes Parkway at around 3 in the morning, where she was later hit by a car driven by a rideshare driver. When Brooks got to the hospital after being hit, investigators say her blood alcohol level was nearly 4 times the legal limit.
Damn.
Deputies charged both 18-year-old Kaivon Washington.
So she was super geeked up, got in the whip with 4 guys. Recipe for disaster. I don't know how she ended up getting in the whip. Did they force her? We don't know. Could she have been trying to be adventurous? Who knows? But honestly, I don't know how they're going to prove grape necessarily on this one, unless, you know, they have that physical evidence there. But it's basically their word against hers, and now she's gone. Very sticky situation. She was hit by a rideshare driver, but that possibly could have been because, one, she was intoxicated, two, because she also could have been in shock from that traumatic experience that happened to her. And this is what I'm going to say, okay? Everybody was getting on me for saying there needs to be accountability held on both sides for grape. And look, man, you can't get mad drunk and leave with 4 dudes. Hopefully, well, I guess not hopefully, but maybe she was taken against her will. Then it makes it seem, you know, it makes it seem more reasonable to understand the situation, I guess, even though none of this is reasonable by any means of the word. But if you are mad drunk and you get in the whip with 4 guys voluntarily, I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster. And I hope that's not what happened, but I don't know. It kind of seems like she may have gotten in the whip voluntarily. Otherwise, somebody would have seen them forcing her to move, right? I don't know. Let's listen up, though.
And an unidentified 17-year-old minor with third-degree rape. 28-year-old Everett Lee and Kason Carver were charged with principal to third-degree rape, which means they were there when the alleged incident occurred, but did not take part in it. The question tonight by investigators is if the sex was consensual. Arrest documents reveal that Brooks allegedly consented, but that Carver says he personally thought she was too drunk to know what she was doing.
Okay, so they're saying she allegedly consented, which, oh man, like I said, guys, recipe for disaster. Leave these drunk women alone, because this is what happens if something like this happens, which this is a freak situation, but it looks like she didn't retroactively withdraw consent, but the law is describing retroactive withdrawal of consent, because if a woman is drunk, then she's not able to give consent in the first place, according to the law.
Investigators is if the sex was consensual. Arrest documents reveal that Brooks allegedly consented, but that Carver says he personally thought she was too drunk to know what she was doing. Third-degree rape usually involves a case where a person is too intoxicated to consent. LSU's president William Tate released a statement saying in part, quote, "By all accounts, she was an amazing young woman with limitless potential. She should not have been taken from us in this way. What happened to her was evil, and our legal system will parcel out justice." We are told that some of the suspects are being represented by attorney Ron Haley. We're expecting to hear from him shortly, and we'll have much more tonight on 9 News at 10. Greg, back to you.
All right, Lester, thank you for that. We appreciate it. You can follow more on this.
Well, tonight investigators say a young woman from Covington killed after being hit by a car was sexually assaulted before she died. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Cherise Gibson.
And I'm Devin Bartolotta. For the last week, Baton Rouge police have been investigating how Madison Brooks ended up in the middle of a roadway at 3 in the morning. Tonight, they say 4 young men left her there, but their lawyers are denying the allegations.
Eleanor Tabone is live for us in Baton Rouge with this very, very just tragic story. Eleanor, we learned a lot about this case tonight. What can you tell us?
Devin and Cherise, what we know right now is a 17-year-old, 2 18-year-olds and a 28-year-old have all been charged with raping 19-year-old Maddie Brooks. And that's before she was hit by a car and then killed. According to police affidavit, Brooks was at Reggie's Bar at Tigerland when she met up with the 4 men. Investigators say that surveillance video shows Brooks getting into the car with them.
She willingly got into the whip. I mean, she was about to do some things. It looks like that. Here's the thing with drunk women. A lot of women get drunk to release their inhibitions so that they don't feel bad about doing intercoursal acts that they often fantasize about. I mean, so technically, because of her intoxication level, yes, it was grape, as they said, described it as third-degree grape. But I just, oh man, I mean, it's so tricky. I just say avoid drunk women in the first place. But if she willingly gave it up, I really don't see a problem. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation.
Then alleged two of the men in the car, the 17-year-old and Kaivion, Washington, both had sex with her. They then dropped her off near the Pelican Lake subdivision off Burbank Drive. She was then killed a short time later after she wandered into the middle of the road.
So she wandered into the middle of the road. Could she have retroactively regretted what she did and then just kind of dazed out in a drunken daze? I mean, oh man, I got to see the surveillance footage of her getting in the whip.
Two of the suspects' lawyer, Ronald Haley, says his clients, Kaivion, Washington and Lee Everett, are innocent. He says a video taken by one of the suspects shows Brooks understood what she was doing at the time. Police records show she had a blood alcohol reading.
Dang, so they took a video too. I mean, it looks like they're probably going to get off. All in all, her passing was not their fault. I know it's going to trigger a lot of people, and it's a very sticky situation, but I mean, this one's tough.
Of 0.319%, that's nearly 4 times the legal limit. But according to Louisiana law, someone that's intoxicated cannot give consent. We asked Haley about his client's actions. This is what he had to say. Take a listen.
They didn't rape her. We believe that based on the evidence that we're able to view today, that one of our clients had on his cloud, that she was not in a drunken stupor. What they're accused with right now is third-degree rape. Basically, for layman's terms, third-degree rape means that you cannot consent because you're in a drunken stupor that prevents you from saying yes or no. Based on her body language, based on her words, based on what she was saying.
Words, video evidence. I mean, according to the lawyer, and I guess we got to take it with a grain of salt, but they have video evidence. It looks like she gave it up. And this is what I be talking about. A lot of y'all think certain girls are innocent and they're just like, they don't have no bodies and they out here. Dude, a lot of these girls, I mean, she could have had DP fantasies, okay? And if you guys don't know what DP is, just search DP on the hub and you'll figure out real quick what it is. She might have had those types of fantasies and obviously went to get them fulfilled. If they have video evidence of her beating the brakes off of her, getting the brakes beat off of her, then, I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, well, she was drunk, she couldn't give consent. But at the same time, would it be the same for a man? I'm just trying to be objective in this story. Very sticky situation, but I don't know. From what I'm hearing from the lawyer, and if they got video evidence, I mean, we've all had drunken nights, and as guys, I've avoided drunk girls for sure, but then I've also had girls that I've had prior dealings with, and maybe even one night stands where maybe they were drunk, maybe they were not drunk, maybe we both were drunk, and it just went down like that.
I can sit here firmly on even ground and say that a rape did not occur that evening.
Sharice and Devon, but according to the arrest affidavit, Haley's client admitted to police that, quote, she was drunk. And the report also says surveillance video shows her stumbling and falling more than once. Sharice and Devon, the 17-year-old, was booked into the East Baton Rouge Parish Juvenile Detention.
And moral of the story, guys, just stay away from drunk women, period. Even in this situation, I wouldn't advise you to do anything like that. But I do think the laws, the grape laws, are pretty unfair when it comes to these situations, because a lot of women get drunk to release their inhibitions so that they can do things like this with no regrets. That's just the reality.
Center yesterday on account of third-degree rape. Now, Kaivion, Washington, also faces charges of third-degrey rape. Carson Carver and Everett Lee, who's the uncle of Washington, were both booked as a principal to third-degree rape. Carver and Lee were in the front seat when the alleged crime happened, according to arrest records. Reporting live in Baton Rouge, Eleanor Tabone, Eyewitness News.
Eleanor, thank you so much. LSU did release a statement saying in part that it appeared to take aim at the bar that served Madison and the suspect's alcohol that night, saying, quote, What happened to Madison was evil, and our legal system will parcel out justice. All but one of the suspects involved in this horrific scenario were underage, yet were able to consume alcohol at a local bar.
So the bar is probably going to get in trouble too, because one of the suspects was underage. And then, I mean, if she really gave it up to an underage kid, if she was still alive, I don't know, man. It's sticky because it's a sticky situation because wow, I mean, this one's pretty tricky, and I'm really trying to be fair on this one. But if she gave it up to an underage individual, and if she was still alive, I know she was drunk. They could have been drunk too. Would she have gotten maybe a statutory charge too? I don't know.
As such, our action plan starts with a deep and relentless focus on any establishment that profits of our students by providing alcohol to underage individuals.
As Eleanor said, Brooks's blood alcohol level, or BAC, was higher than 0.3% when she died. That is extremely high, generally considered.
What about the guy's blood alcohol level? That would be interesting to know as well.
Alcohol poisoning level. How fast your BAC rises depends on a lot of factors, but 0.3% corresponds to about 8 drinks in 3 hours. So investigators are arguing that Brooks could not give consent.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your property.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take over
What
your
more
store.
do you want from me?
Disturbing details unfolding this morning into the death of an LSU student who was hit and killed after leaving a Baton Rouge bar. And we certainly feel for her family this morning, having to cope and come to grips with all of this. 4 young men are now behind bars after police say they were involved in the rape of Madison Brooks before she died, and one of them just 17 years old. Investigators say that the 19-year-old was allegedly sexually assaulted and then dropped off near the intersection where she then stumbled into the street and died. That 17-year-old, along with an 18-year-old, Kaivon Washington here, have been charged with third-degree rape, while 28-year-old Everett Lee and 18-year-old Kasen Carver have been charged with principal to third-degree rape, meaning...
Wow. So, I mean, what do y'all think, man? I definitely want you guys to weigh in on this. To me, it seems like they kind of want somebody to go down for this.
That police say that they knew that this was happening and didn't do anything to stop it. The East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office says a toxicology report shows that Brooks had very high blood alcohol and THC in her system. Brooks is said to be buried next weekend with services at St. Peter Catholic Church in Covington. And LSU's president is responding this morning, highlighting the fact that they were all able to consume alcohol at a local bar while being underage. President William Tate says the school will be jumping into action to hold those businesses accountable, and he wants to call a meeting with owners to discuss their responsibility and how that affects the safety of students.
Meriwether here with you on this Monday. We're going to start here. Deputies say that they now believe that Madison Brooks, the young lady you see right there, the LSU student, she was hit and killed on Burbank. They say that she was sexually assaulted before being dropped off near the spot where she was hit. Tonight, 4 men are in the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, arrested over the past few hours, one of them in juvenile detention.
So my thing is, if she wouldn't have passed away, would she have reported this as a rape? Because To me, it seems like if they have video evidence, if she was giving consent in the video, you know, it just seems like she probably, I don't know what she would have done. She could have retroactively withdrew consent, but it sounds like to me that she was down for it in the moment, and then afterwards she regretted it, possibly. Man, I don't know, guys.
The 18-year-old Kaivion in Washington and a juvenile, both charged with third-degree rape. The two others you see there are booked on charges of principal to third-degree rape. Our Lester Dewey is in the Breaking News Center tonight with more on this. Lester.
Greg, I'm told deputies have known about this rape angle to the case almost from the start and have been conducting multiple interviews before making the arrest that happened late today. Less than 1 day after a vigil was held to honor the memory of LSU sophomore Madison Brooks at the LSU Lakes, deputies have arrested 4 men who they say were seen leaving with Madison Brooks in a vehicle from Reggie's Bar in Tigerland. Investigators believe 2 of the men raped Madison Brooks before they dropped her off near that scene on Burbank Drive near Pelican Lakes Parkway at around 3 in the morning, where she was later hit by a car driven by a rideshare driver. When Brooks got to the hospital after being hit, investigators say her blood alcohol level was nearly 4 times the legal limit. Deputies charged both 18-year-old Kaivon Washington and an unidentified 17-year-old minor with third-degree rape. 28-year-old Everett Lee and Kason Carver were charged with principal to third-degree rape, which means they were there when the alleged incident occurred but did not take part in it. The question tonight by investigators is if the sex was consensual. Arrest documents reveal that Brooks allegedly consented, but that Carver says he personally thought she was too drunk to know what she was doing. Third-degree rape usually involves.
Dang, so it looks like the glider man is talking, and he's, woo, man, he's turning on him. He is turning on him. I mean, if he felt like she was too drunk to give consent, then why didn't he, you know what I'm saying, tell his boys to get up off her? Very, very crazy. Very sticky situation, man. This one's wild.
Involves a case where a person is too intoxicated to consent. LSU's president William Tate released a statement saying in part, quote, "By all accounts, she was an amazing young woman with limitless potential. She should not have been taken from us in this way. What happened to her was evil, and our legal system will parcel out justice." We are told that some of the suspects are being represented by attorney Ron Haley. We're expecting to hear from him shortly, and we'll have much more tonight on 9 News at 10. Greg, back to you.
All right, Lester, thank you for that. We appreciate it. You can follow more on this in a second. Deputies with the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office say that LSU student Madison Brooks was raped before she was hit and killed by a car on Burbank Drive. Now, that happened more than a week ago. Tonight, the attorney representing 2 of the people behind bars says a video shows a whole different story.
And now it's like, if she was hit by the vehicle, was she super drunk, or did she delete herself? What could have been going on in her life where she just wandered into the street? I mean, I've been drunk before, probably not drunk enough to wander into the street, but it can happen.
18-year-old Kaivon in Washington and a juvenile are both charged with something called third-degree rape. Now, 2 others you see there have been booked on charges of principal to third-degree rape. We don't have one picture because it's a 17-year-old. Lester Dewey is here with the very latest on what we've learned. Lester.
Greg, deputies have been conducting interviews about this rape angle for quite some time, we're told. But attorney Ron Haley says while sexual acts did take place, there was absolutely no rape, and his clients did not just drop the victim off on the side of Burbank Drive. It's been a mystery for more than a week now. Why was LSU sophomore Madison Brooks standing in the middle of Burbank Drive near the Pelican Lakes neighborhood? This is around 3 in the morning as she was hit by a car. But tonight, investigators believe they've pieced together the moments leading up to the tragedy. Deputies arresting 4 men who they say were seen leaving with Madison Brooks in a car from Reggie's Bar in Tigerland. Detectives say this was after a night of drinking. Attorney Ron Haley and his team are representing 2 of the suspects.
She willfully got into the car, said that her rides had left her, and got in. After that point in time, there was consensual sexual acts done in that car with her and 2 other individuals at 2 separate times.
And so consensual intercourse acts done in the car with her, 2 individuals, 2 separate times. So looks like they got it on camera. They smashed her 2 different times. You know, so I guess it wasn't a DP, but woo, guys, you don't want to do this, man. You do not want to do this. Honestly, man, this is why you film it, though. This is why you film it, because if they got footage and she was talking about some yes, oh yeah, I want it. Oh, this is so hot. I feel so good. Man, hey, I would just say avoid these situations altogether. It's not worth the nut.
Investigators charged the men with what's called 3rd-degree rape, which basically means the victim was too intoxicated to consent to sex. Deputies charged both 18-year-old Kaivon Washington and an unidentified 17-year-old minor with that 3rd-degree rape charge. 28-year-old Everett Lee and Kason Carver were charged with principal to 3rd-degree rape, which means investigators believe they were there when it occurred but did not take part in it.
Absolutely not a rape. Listen, this is a tragedy. Definitely not a crime.
Haley says a video taken during the incident shows Madison Brooks was in a coherent state and knew what was happening all along.
Wow.
Can you tell that she was intoxicated? Yes. To the point under the law that you say you're in a drunken stupor, to the point that you cannot lawfully give consent or answer questions.
I mean, technically, by her blood alcohol level, she technically could not give consent according to the law, but I mean, maybe she was holding her liquor well enough. I don't know, man, but obviously we're probably not going to see that video, but I definitely like to at least hear some transcripts from the video, read some transcripts to see what actually went on.
Absolutely, that was not the case.
Haley says an argument took place between Madison Brooks and the driver of the vehicle, then she left.
Based on disagreement, she got out of the vehicle. She indicated she was getting an Uber. I want the public to know that these young men, or really the driver of the vehicle and the young men that were in there, did not put her off on the side of the road.
Arrest documents say that the driver thought the girl was too drunk to consent, telling deputies, I guess she was. Brooks's blood alcohol level when she got to the hospital was nearly 4 times the legal limit, but Haley believes the video will acquit his clients fully, and the real blame needs to be on the bars selling to underage drinkers. LSU's President William Tate released a statement following these arrests, saying in part, quote, in the coming days, we will call a meeting with these business owners to discuss how their responsibilities directly impact the safety of our students. We will work openly against any business that doesn't join us in efforts towards creating a safer environment for our students. Enough is enough. Attorney Ron Haley tells me he will turn over that video evidence to investigators and the district attorney's office. Of course, if we get any more information on this case, it will be on our 9 News app. Greg?
All right, so a lot of underage drinking involved in this entire incident. Thank you very much, Lester. We appreciate it. We'll look for updates.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! That's what